Hello everyone, this is Sir Cheddar here, and I'm going to be doing a quick comparison between the Formula X1 case, the Aklla case, and the Kevcase. I originally was interested in this case because of the design of the Ghost S1, however those were very hard to acquire, and I couldn't justify spending the premium, so I wanted to look at alternatives that have the same aesthetic, and I realized that not many people or anyone had done a comparison of the three main cases being developed with the same aesthetic, which is the Kevcase here on the left, the Formula X1 in the middle, and then the Aklla case. I purchased these all from Taobao, and I used agent SuperBuy for help. They're very helpful, and I recommend using them if you're interested in purchasing one of these cases. So real quickly, I can go through the price. The Formula X1 case and cable were about $250 or about 1,500 yuan, and then the top hat for the Formula X1 is about $50. You can also see in the back here, I have the top hat. I haven't assembled it. I did slide the pieces in to make sure it assembles. It looks like it works fine. I haven't gotten a use for it yet, but I do plan on adding some extra 120mm fans to the top of my Formula X1, but I'm not totally sure if I will do that yet, or when I will do that. The Aklla case, which is the white one on the right, the top hat for that was about $15, 100 yuan. The cable was 85 yuan, which is $10 to $15. The case itself was 570 yuan, and that is around $85. And for the Kevcase, which is the one on the left here, that's 900 yuan. That includes the cable, and there was not a top hat option when I purchased it because I think the listing when I purchased mine was remaining parts from a previous sale they did, so I think they were limited on the amount of parts they had at the time being. Let me preface this by saying that I'm very inexperienced with PC building, and actually I didn't even assemble the Formula X1 case. I had my friend do it, and the Kevcase I had assembled twice with two different sets of parts. The first time I had one of my IT friends do it, and the second time I did it. So I did assemble it once by myself. And I had the general confusing problems plugging in the cables to the PSU. This isn't my first SFF PC build because I did one with the Sugo SG05, and I had previously had that computer for about 5 years, and I had really enjoyed it, but eventually that PC started having problems, and I spent a lot of time trying to fix it with no luck. In the end, the problem was the motherboard, which I have replaced, and I transferred the parts to my Kevcase, which is sort of my backup PC at this moment. I also I want to mention I originally did have the Kevcase parts in the Aklla case, so I did have experience using that and building in that, and I did build that myself. And so I have a little bit of comments, but overall I can't comment on part compatibility too much or airflow or things like this. I really it's best left to other people's comments. So I'm just going to try and keep my comments surface level. And as you have questions, I'm sure that there will be a lot of remaining questions. I will try to go ahead and answer those, and if there needs to be a second video explaining further details, I'm totally fine to do that when I have the free time. So my first comment about the Kevcase, which sort of bothers me, is the lid. The lid has some issues. The metal here is kind of like bending a lot, and this little the pull tab for the lid does not it's not thick enough to lock, and so it doesn't function like the Formula X1 case does. And this was a little bit too big for the inside kind of shelf here, so I did have to sand the back end of this, which I can pull out and show really quick. I did have to manually sand that with some sandpaper, but I eventually got it fitting much better. But it still has warping issues, which is disappointing, but that's the biggest issue with that case. Oh, I did get a lot of comments. I did read a lot of comments about people interested in the power buttons. So I can do a sound comparison here. This is the Kevcase power button, and this is the Formula X1, and this is the Aklla. Definitely the Aklla case, that one functions the least. I don't know, it feels like the input is not as firm as the other two. Between the Kevcase and the Formula X1, I don't really have any comments on if either one is better. They were both built fine, and I've had no issues with either of them. Let's see. The biggest thing I was interested in these cases was having the side panels that kind of like slide in, like the thick panels that are milled out rather than sheet metal that are cut. And I wasn't sure aesthetically from the pictures I saw if the Kevcase was going to function like that. However, it does. It does have the panels that kind of like slide, that are milled aluminum out of blocks, and the Aklla case doesn't. It's all single pieces of sheet metal. Yeah, overall, I'm not really so satisfied with just having single pieces of sheet metal that are assembled with screws. It just seems like the Aklla case is less designed than the other ones. Like, you can see here, they just glue magnets on. There's not even like a hole cut. I guess maybe there's like is an increase height there, but it just does not look clean. It looks like very, like they've thought about it after they finished the design, whereas the other ones sit much more flush. You can see this is just a way cleaner looking internal portion, and you can see they have the gaps here for the components, which is really cool. Yeah, and the other thing which I had gotten some comments about was the finish. So the Kevcase, it has a soft finish, which is, I'm guessing, anodized metal, and the Formula X1 does also. This one's a little bit softer. I'm guessing they just bead blasted it with different size beads, but overall they're both smooth and nice finish. And yeah, I guess the Kevcase feels a little bit drier, but overall totally no comments there. They're totally fine. But the Aklla case is, I'm not sure how they colored it, but it's like, it's very like bumpy. It feels either like paint or powder coating or something. It's really like unsatisfying to touch. And what happens when I was assembling it, sometimes the countersunk screws would chip away at the coloring really easily. So either it's a really thin anodizing, or it's paint, or it's powder coating that's chipping away. All of that is disappointing for me. So actually, I had received the Aklla case first, and after going through all these thoughts with it and then receiving the other two, I realized that that case is not something that I was satisfied with as far as quality goes. But obviously it's the least expensive by a long shot. So I think it depends on your price point, and if you prioritize this design but you have a really low price point. Let's see. Another comment which I have, which is the biggest drawback of the Formula X1 case, is the power cable. You can see I didn't actually unplug the power cable because I am scared of this power cable. It's really, so it's some sort of like one of those like aviator cables here, but it's a 3-pin DIN connector that I, it's really heavy duty. It's really scary to install, and I've tried to get a replacement because I got sent the one for the China market, and I have an adapter for it, but I contacted the studio that makes the Formula X1 case through SuperBuy. They confirmed that they could send me a replacement case. I've paid for it, and I've waited like 4 months. So I don't know when it's gonna come. The SuperBuy agent communicated with them and said, yeah, it's for sure coming. They just have no idea when. So I don't know how hard it is for them to put the cable in a bag, or if they have to custom make these. I didn't expect to get this weird cable, and it's the biggest drawback of the case by far. I'm a little bit disappointed. I don't want to be tied to this cable and cables from this company if something happens, or if I rebuild the computer. So maybe I would cut out manually, maybe with like a Dremel, and provide proper like the standard power cable support, because it's a really big headache. It's the only thing that I was disappointed about with that case, really. And so as you can see, I didn't even unplug it for this video because I just don't want to mess with it, and I'm not confident about it. The Kevcase has the regular power cable structure, which you can see here, which I don't actually know the name of it, but I prefer this one. I've seen this one many times before, and so if I could have this one, I would be more satisfied. Another comment is the I/O shield on the Kevcase. It doesn't fit super flush. You can see this part here is kind of like sitting more inward, and this part pokes out more. I tried really hard to get it to be fitting properly, and I couldn't do it. So that's, maybe there's just a few minor dimensions that are off there, but overall that's a disappointing finish to the Kevcase. And for the Formula X1 case here, it fits really cleanly. It's awesome. I'm super happy with how it came together at the end. Yeah, so that's, I can move this guy over. That's really like my view at whatever 30,000 feet summary of these cases. I'm happy to go into further details if anybody has any questions. But overall, I don't think the Aklla case is worth purchasing, even compared to my Sugo SG05, which was about the same price, and it was more readily available, or the other Sugo cases now. I think the easy one to get nowadays is the SG13. So I would recommend that, or that new Cooler Master case looks really nice, but I don't think the Aklla case is refined enough. And I guess the last comment about it is it's bigger than the other cases by far. It's just, you can see there, it's way longer, and it's way taller, and it's way wider. So it's just bigger too. Everything about it is just less refined than the other two. And the Formula X1 case, the USB port is a huge, the power cable is a huge disappointment for me. So, and with the price being something like, let's see, the price is, it's like more than double. It's 135 versus 250 if you compare components. So it's about double. It's close to double. It's $10 more than double. But I don't think, or $10, the Kevcase is $10 less than double. But I don't think that the value is there with the Formula X1 to be double the price. So actually, I think that the Kevcase is the best value. And I'm super disappointed with the power cable on the Formula X1. I've been planning to have this computer build for a long time, and having a power cable that I can't replace is that's really disappointing. Or if I do replace it, it's going to be really hard to do so, and it's going to be a headache. So I'm trying to avoid headaches, and if I wanted a really refined case, I wouldn't want to have to deal with that kind of headache. So yeah, actually, I think that the Kevcase is my sweet spot here. But for now, it's my backup case because I do have the Formula X1. It is overall a better case than the Kevcase, but it's not double the case for double the price. It's 10% or 20% more refined for double the price. So I think the Kevcase is the sweet spot, unless you absolutely need the Formula X1 case. But I would try to contact the studio about getting the proper power cable option if you can, because I think that it's going to be a headache for me in the future, and I was trying to avoid headaches. So that's disappointing, but we'll see. Yeah, so that is everything for this video here. Thank you for checking out my video, and if you do have any remaining questions about these cases, please let me know. If you need me to make another video comparing other aspects to them, please let me know, and I'd be happy to do so. But for now, thank you very much, and have a great day.